Hey guys, Dr. Axe here, Doctor of Natural Medicine and founder of draxe.com. Hey, in this video I'll be talking about how to overcome yeast overgrowth and the big warning signs that you may have yeast or Candida overgrowth in your body. And I'll be going through the best foods, cleanses, essential oils, and supplements to really help you overcome Candida fast. Well, let's start off and talk about what actually is yeast overgrowth and then jump into the big warning signs and the root cause. Remember this, if you don't correct the root cause, it'll just keep coming back. Number one here, common cause of Candida symptoms. You know, if you're a person that has any type of white coating on your tongue, that's a big warning sign you have yeast overgrowth. But it can happen on more than just your tongue. Actually, that same yeast can be growing in your colon, in your small intestine, causing nutrient malabsorption and all kinds of other health issues. Candida albicans is the most common type of yeast infection that most of us struggle with. It can promote leaky gut syndrome and even lead to other chronic health conditions in the body that we'll talk about, from headaches to hormone imbalance to nutrient malabsorption. Now, here's some things to know about the actual root cause. Oftentimes, Candida is triggered when we take a prescription antibiotic. And again, of all the things on this list, this is one of the biggest destroyers of your gut. Now, here's the problem. If you've taken a prescription antibiotic, not only does it kill the bad bacteria, it kills the good bacteria in your gut. And once you kill that off, if you're not replacing it with loads of probiotics, bad bacteria will overgrow in your body, and yeast and funguses and mold. And so you really got to be careful. But again, the most damaging thing of all is broad spectrum antibiotics. Now here's another thing that can really damage your body: birth control pills. Birth control pills, if somebody's been on that for many years, one of the side effects once you get off is it actually causes yeast and Candida overgrowth in the body. And I've taken care of thousands of patients, many of young women as well, who are really working to improve their overall fertility and their overall health. And one of the things that happened was when they were on birth control pill and got off, major side effects. Now the good thing is you can overcome it, but it can take some time. But again, birth control pills, major cause of Candida and yeast overgrowth. Oral corticosteroids, cancer treatments, especially chemotherapy. Having diabetes can cause yeast overgrowth, and any type of weakened immune response. One of the last things here as well, consuming a diet that promotes dampness in your body. Now this is a root principle of traditional Chinese medicine, and the number one food that will cause excess dampness in the body is sugar consumption. So if you're consuming a lot of sugar, and also things like dairy products and wheat products, all of those things contribute to Candida and dampness in the body. And think about this. You know, yeast is kind of a form of a mold, and if your body is, building up, let's say, or let me give you this example. If you go down to like a dark, damp basement or a very humid state like Florida, that's where a lot of mold grows, right? So mold likes things that are damp and moist, not very dry, like, being out in the desert. So the same thing goes for your body. If your body is very damp, and think about this, here's another sign of dampness. Dampness is that white coating on your tongue or mucus. If you've got mucus in your throat or lungs, that means you've got a lot of dampness in that area. We got to clear out that dampness in order to truly cure Candida and yeast overgrowth, which I'll talk about more in just a minute. So here's some big warning signs that you personally or someone you love has yeast overgrowth. Number one, chronic fatigue syndrome. If you are chronically tired, maybe you even get a good night's sleep and you're still tired the next day, that's a big warning sign. You can have yeast in your system. And one of the side effects too, if you have Candida overgrowth, you're not absorbing certain vitamins like vitamin B12. That also can lead to that chronic fatigue. Number two, mood disorders. When you've got digestive issues, or let's say you have yeast in your small intestine, it can cause a condition called leaky gut syndrome. Remember this, there's a connection between your gut and your brain, or your second brain, which is what they call part of your gut, and your first brain here. And if you've got issues with your gut here, what can happen is it can cause inflammation of the gut lining. Proteins like gluten, casein, bad bacteria, toxins can leak through the gut, circulate in your body, and actually cause cause inflammation of the brain. And what that can do over time is cause anxiety, depression, mood disorders, and many other conditions of the brain there as well. Recurring infections, okay, really weakens the immune system. You can get regular infections on a regular basis. Even yeast infections would be very common. Oral thrush, that white coating on your tongue, whether it be an infant or an adult, that's a big warning sign of yeast overgrowth, probably the primary sign that it's very severe. Sinus infections, if you get chronic sinus infections, that can be Candida and yeast overgrowth. Intestinal distress is absolute. If you get regular gas and bloating issues, any type of intestinal distress, that's a big warning sign there as well. Brain fog, where you're just not having clear thinking. Remember this again, I mentioned with mood disorders. If you've got issues in your gut, over time it will affect the brain and can really cause just kind of poor memory, but just fuzzy thinking. You just don't feel like you're clear all the time. And then hormone imbalances. I mentioned this earlier, but again, this can really cause issues with fertility in some women over time as well, low testosterone in men, but you really got to be looking out for how this affects hormones as well. Now the good news is there are all natural ways to fight Candida, which I'll jump into here right now. So here's some things you can do to get rid of Candida. Number one, you can do a liquid Candida cleanse. Now this is something I've done with my patients, and I'm telling you, if you want to get rid of Candida fast, this is incredible. Here's what you're going to do for several days. Basically, you're going to drink just chicken broth or bone broth during the day and drink herbal tea. Now, you're just going to do that for a period of 3 days to a week, but I'm telling you, so that's all you do. You're going to drink just straight up, and now listen, not the fake chicken broth, real chicken broth. Now, you can do it in powder form and mix it in water like a bone broth powdered protein. You can mix that in water and drink it as your bone broth, or you can just do the real thing you buy or make it yourself in your crock pot. And then you're going to drink herbal tea. Now here's the herbal tea I recommend. I do a blend of Pau d'Arco tea and cinnamon. Okay, so Pau d'Arco, very powerful antimicrobial herb. You can also do oregano tea, do it with a cinnamon tea, but drink that tea along with bone broth throughout the day, 3 to 7 days, and that is a powerful way to kill off a lot of these Candida symptoms. And if that's not enough food for you, what you can do is just then drink a chicken vegetable bone broth soup along with the herbal tea, and you could do that up to a month and see incredible results. But I'll talk about that in a minute here when it comes to vegetables. Do a steamed veggie cleanse, again, where you're just doing steamed vegetables for several days. Broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, celery, onions, garlic, spinach, things like that is very good. Now, the Candida diet, and I would recommend doing the Candida diet, which is what I would call the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine diet. And what you're going to do is you're going to try and drive dampness out of the body. And here's the top foods that get rid of Candida according to traditional Chinese medicine. Number one, bone broth. Okay, that's number one. Number two, cooked vegetables. So again, you're going to do a lot of bone broth soups. You're going to do chicken broth. You're going to do chicken. You're going to do lots of veggies there in the broth, maybe some herbs like parsley and ginger, but a lot of that soup during the day. That's going to be your staple meal. You can also do wild organic meats like grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, chicken and turkey. Lots of steamed and cooked vegetables, but that's the primary part of your diet, okay? If you're going to do a Candida diet, it's warm, it's chicken broth, it's wild meat, it's cooked vegetables and herbs, and then also a small amount of probiotic foods such as sauerkraut on a regular basis. Can be very, very good there as well. But really, that's the Candida diet, consuming those foods. And really, you don't want to consume any cold drinks as well. Lots of warm herbal teas all day long, like ginger tea, Pau d'Arco tea, cinnamon tea are all good. You want to do different supplements and oils. You know, if you're going to use an oil, coconut oil is going to be the best oil to use on a regular basis. And in terms of supplements, again, ginger is fantastic. Pau d'Arco is fantastic. Oregano, essential oil of oregano is very, very good. But oregano oil is probably my favorite oil for Candida. Oregano mixed with cinnamon there as well. Those are two really, really good oils for killing off Candida. And then, of course, you know, changing your lifestyle. You know, in terms of a lifestyle, You want to get out and work out. Doing some weightlifting can be very good. Remember, most people that have Candida, they're very damp inside. You got to increase circulation there as well. So working out in general is you don't want to overwork out, but just doing some generally light workouts, whether it be burst training or general cardio or weight training or something like a bar or hot yoga class, you want to warm and increase circulation inside. That can help eliminate Candida. And another thing I really like for Candida is doing an infrared sauna. Infrared sauna helps dry up some of that dampness that can happen in your body as well. Now, I do want to warn you of something. When you do a Candida cleanse and diet for the first up to 2 weeks, you can sometimes have some die-off symptoms. And killing Candida can release 70 plus toxins into your body that your body needs to eliminate. And listen, symptoms usually clear up within 10 days, a lot of times even 3 days. But some of the symptoms can be, just sort of, again, even increased brain fog for a few days, headaches, fatigue, dizziness, just some intestinal changes when you're changing your diet like that, sinus infections, a little bit of sweating and fever, breakouts, and typically just generally, if I'd explain it, flu-like symptoms. But listen, most people don't have that, but if your Candida is really severe, listen, if you're having the die-off symptoms, that meant you really, really needed to do this. So again, doing a Candida cleanse and diet, I'm telling you, can create a radical difference in your body in terms of your overall energy levels, having clearer thinking, more balanced hormones, better digestion, overall just feeling better. And again, if you have any one of these symptoms, it's a big warning sign you've got Candida. Fatigue, mood disorders, recurring infections, oral thrush, sinus infections, intestinal disorders, brain fog, and hormone imbalance. I want to encourage you, do a Candida cleanse or Candida diet for a period of time. I know it's going to help you see great results. And hey, if you're not subscribed here to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. I got some great videos coming out on essential oils and herbal extracts and really just how to use food as medicine. And hey, if you want to learn more about how to get rid of Candida and yeast overgrowth, you can Google my name online, just search Dr. Axe Candida. I've got more lists and recipes and things like that online for you, and also searching some of those terms here on YouTube with my name attached there as well. I want to say, hey, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this training video on signs of yeast overgrowth and how to eliminate yeast for good. Hi, Dr. Axe here. I want to say thanks so much for checking out this YouTube video, and also don't forget to subscribe if you want to get more great content on things like herbs, essential oils, natural remedies, and how to use food as medicine. Also, check out more of our content on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.